So hey anime fans. The series name is What If Naruto and game Asterigos Curse X Harem. So let's start the series. Naruto felt it give way beneath his foot a split second before the snap echoed through the forest, and in that fragment of time, he understood exactly how badly he had miscalculated. 37 feet up. No nearby handholds. Iruka-sensei watching from the base of the tree. 3 other academy students clustered below, their faces tilted upward in various expressions of schadenfreude. He fell. The air rushed past his ears. He twisted instinctively, caught a thinner branch with his left hand, the impact tore a gasp from his throat, and held. Splinters dug into his palm. His shoulder screamed. He dangled there, 18 feet now, his legs swinging uselessly, and tried to remember how to breathe. Stupid, he thought. Stupid. Should have tested the branch first. Should have. Perception check passed, new information available. The words appeared in the corner of his vision like condensation on glass, translucent, shimmering, utterly impossible. Naruto blinked. They didn't go away. He blinked again, harder, and nearly lost his grip. Naruto! Iruka's voice floated up from below. Hold on! I'm coming! But Naruto wasn't listening. Because the words were still there, and now they were joined by others, layering themselves over the world like morning frost. Tree stability, 34%, optimal descent path calculated, injury risk without technique, 72%. He could see it. A faint golden line traced itself through the air, angling downward through the branches, a route he could take, if he let go, if he trusted this impossible thing that had appeared inside his head. The line pulsed gently, waiting for his decision. What the hell? Don't move! Iruka shouted. Naruto looked down. Iruka was climbing, moving with the easy competence of a trained chunin, but he was still 20 seconds away. Below him, the other students had formed a loose semicircle. Kiba was smirking. Sakura looked vaguely concerned, which for her was practically a declaration of undying affection. Sasuke just watched with that flat, bored expression he always wore, as if Naruto's near disaster wasn't even interesting enough to warrant contempt. Social context analysis available, view Y/N? No. Absolutely not. Whatever this was, Naruto didn't have time for it. His grip was failing. His shoulder was on fire. He needed to move. He let go. The golden line guided him. Or maybe he just imagined it guiding him, maybe this was all some elaborate hallucination brought on by panic and poor decision-making, but his hands found branches he hadn't consciously seen, his feet kicked off against trunk sections that appeared exactly when he needed them, and 3 seconds later he landed on the forest floor in a controlled crouch, his legs absorbing the impact. His injured palm pressed flat against the dirt. Descent successful, acrobatics +2, perception +1. Naruto stared at his hand. At the dirt. At the words floating in the space between. You okay? Iruka landed beside him, slightly breathless. That was pretty good improvisation. The way you used that lower branch to slow your momentum. He stopped, frowning. Naruto? You're white as a sheet. I'm fine, Naruto heard himself say. His voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. Just need a minute. Iruka studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Take 5. Everyone else, back to the basics. Tree walking isn't going to happen today if you can't even focus. The other students dispersed, grumbling. Kiba muttered something about dead last almost breaking his neck, which was rich coming from someone who managed to stick to the tree for all of 12 seconds before falling. Sakura drifted towards Sasuke, because of course she did. The universe had certain immutable laws, gravity worked, the sun rose in the east, and Sakura Haruna would find any excuse to stand near Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto sat down heavily, his back against a tree trunk, and finally allowed himself to look. The interface was still there. It hung at the edge of his vision like a held breath, waiting for him to acknowledge it. When he focused on it directly, it expanded. System interface, user, Uzumaki Naruto status, active. Core statistics. Strength, 14, below academy average. Speed, 16, academy average. Stamina, 22, above academy average. Chakra control, 8, critically low. Chakra capacity, 31, exceptionally high. Intelligence, 11, below academy average. Perception, 13, academy average. Charisma, 9, social penalty active, village opinion. Active effects. Village opinion, hostile, -3 charisma, -2 to all social interactions with Konoha civilians/ninja. Jinchuriki Seals, active, +15 chakra capacity, -5 chakra control. Loneliness, persistent, -1 to all stats when isolated for greater than 24 hours. Recent events logged. Failed tree climbing exercise, chakra control failure. Near fall, perception check passed. Improvised descent, acrobatics +2. Iruka concern increased, relationship +1. Naruto read it once. Then again. Then a third time, because surely, this wasn't real. But the words didn't flicker. They didn't fade. They sat there, as solid as the tree behind him, as real as the ache in his shoulder, as undeniable as the weight in his chest when he saw that phrase, social penalty active, village opinion. He'd always known, of course. You couldn't grow up in Konoha without knowing. The way adults looked through him. The way mothers pulled their children closer when he passed. The whispers that stopped when he entered a room. He'd known it since he was old enough to understand that that boy meant him, that the hatred in their eyes wasn't something he'd earned but something he'd inherited, something he was. But he'd never seen it quantified before. Jinchuriki Seals, active. So that was it then. That was the word they never said, the secret everyone knew, the monster curled in his gut that made him valuable and hated in equal measure. The system had laid it bare in 2 words, as casually as it listed his below-average strength. Naruto laughed. It came out wrong, too sharp, too wet, and he clamped his mouth shut before anyone could hear. Emotional state detected, grief/humiliation, warning, negative emotional states reduce learning efficiency, suggestion, focus on actionable objectives. Oh, shut up, he muttered. I'm sorry? Iruka appeared above him, concern etched into the scar across his nose. Who are you talking to? No one. Myself. It's nothing. Naruto scrambled to his feet, brushing dirt from his orange jumpsuit. Can I try again? The tree thing. I think I almost had it. Iruka's eyes narrowed. You're shaking. I'm fine. You're not fine. You nearly fell 30 feet, and now you're talking to yourself and looking at things that aren't there. Iruka crouched to Naruto's eye level, his voice softening. Look, I know the chakra control exercise is frustrating. It's hard for almost everyone at first. But pushing yourself when you're not ready, that's how people get hurt. Really hurt. Not just a few scrapes. Quest updated. Learn tree climbing. Failure penalty. Iruka trust -2. Academy standing -1. Success reward. Chakra control +3. Acrobatics +2. Iruka trust +2. Alternative path detected. Would you like to view? Naruto hesitated. He could feel the system waiting, the same way he could feel the forest waiting, a presence at the edge of his awareness, patient and vast. If he looked, he'd be accepting this thing. Acknowledging it. Choosing to trust whatever strange power had lodged itself in his brain. But what choice did he really have? The alternative was going back to the way things were, failing, falling, watching everyone else move forward while he stayed exactly where he'd always been. Dead last. The village pariah. The demon container who couldn't even climb a tree. Decision point. Your choice will affect future options. He looked. The alternative path unfolded in his mind, not climbing the tree at all, but finding another way. The system showed him Iruka's chakra, a faint blue glow visible only through this strange new perception, and how it flowed through the tree, stabilizing it, strengthening the bark. It showed him the difference between pushing chakra out and connecting with it. It showed him the fundamental flaw in his approach. New skill unlocked. Chakra sense basic, +2 chakra control. Iruka-sensei, Naruto said slowly. When you do the tree walking, you're not just sticking your feet to the bark, are you? You're joining with it. Making it part of you. Iruka went very still. Where did you hear that? I didn't hear it. I just... Naruto trailed off. How could he explain? I saw it. I saw your chakra, and the tree's chakra, and the way they fit together like puzzle pieces. That sounded insane. That sounded like the kind of thing that got you sent to TNI for observation. But Iruka was looking at him strangely now, not with suspicion, but with something that might have been hope. That's actually quite advanced, he said carefully. Most students don't grasp the connection aspect until they've been working at it for weeks. Months sometimes. He paused. Naruto, have you been practicing on your own? Reading ahead in the textbooks? Lie detected. Iruka's suspicion +1. No, Naruto said truthfully. I don't know. It made sense all of a sudden. Irika studied him for a long moment. The system displayed his emotional state in faint script beside his head: confusion, hope, caution. It was disconcerting, seeing someone's feelings laid out like that, like reading a book that was supposed to be private. Okay, Irika finally said. Okay. Let's try something different. Instead of climbing, I want you to just put your hand on the tree. Feel the bark. Feel the life in it. Then try to push a tiny amount of chakra, barely a thread, into the wood. Don't try to stick. Just connect. Naruto nodded. He placed his palm flat against the trunk, the same tree he'd fallen from minutes ago. The bark was rough against his skin, warm from the afternoon sun. He closed his eyes and reached for his chakra, the vast, roiling ocean of it that he usually tried to ignore, because controlling it felt like trying to hold back a tidal wave with his bare hands. But this time, when he reached, something was different. Chakra control assistance available. Activate Y/N. Yes. The system didn't take over. It wasn't like that. Wasn't like some external force moving his body. Instead, it guided. It showed him the shape his chakra needed to take, a thin stream, not a flood. It showed him where to focus, how to regulate the flow, how to listen to the tree's own energy, and find the frequency where they could meet. And then, connection. Naruto felt it like a second heartbeat, slow and deep and ancient. The tree's life pulsed against his palm, patient and vast, utterly indifferent to the small human touching its bark. His chakra merged with it, not forcing or fighting, just belonging. For one perfect moment he belonged. Skill increased. Chakra control 811, new ability, wood affinity basic. Open your eyes, Irika whispered. Naruto did. His hand was stuck to the tree. Not stuck, connected. The same way Irika's feet had been connected when he walked up the trunk. The bond hummed gently between his skin and the bark, effortless and natural. I did it, he breathed. Irika was smiling, really smiling, the kind of smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes and made him look younger. You did it. Naruto, that was, I don't know how you figured it out so fast, but that was perfect. Your control was flawless. Quest complete. Learn tree climbing. Rewards. Chakra control +3, acrobatics +2, Irika trust +2, bonus, first skill milestone achieved. New quest available. Prove yourself. Objective. Pass the academy graduation exam. Time limit. 3 months. Failure penalty. Delayed shinobi career. Social standing -5. Self-worth damage severe. Success reward. Genin rank. Team assignment. System expansion. Accept Y/N. Naruto looked at the quest, then at Irika's proud face, then at his own hand still pressed against the tree like he belonged there. He thought about the numbers he'd seen. The cold, clinical assessment of his weaknesses. The social penalty that weighed him down like chains. The chakra capacity that marked him as different, as other, as monster. And he thought about what it would feel like to prove them all wrong. Yes, he said quietly. Irika tilted his head. Yes, what? Nothing. Naruto pulled his hand free from the tree and grinned, his real grin, the one that reached his eyes. Can I try climbing now? I think I've got it. 3 hours later, Naruto sat alone on the Hokage monument, watching the sun set over Konoha. His body ached in ways he hadn't known were possible. His chakra felt wrung out, depleted, like he'd run a marathon and then climbed a mountain. But at the top of the third stone head, in the space between its carved eyebrows, he'd managed to stand on one foot for nearly 4 seconds before losing control and tumbling down the slope. 4 seconds. It wasn't much. But it was 4 seconds more than he'd had this morning. Daily summary. Skills increased. Chakra control, +5, acrobatics, +3, perception, +2. New skills acquired, chakra sense, basic, wood affinity, basic. Relationship changes, Irika +3, total, 8/100. Quest completed 1. Quest active 1. System note, first aid performance, above expectations, recommendation, rest. Chakra reserves at 12%. Emotional state, fatigued but positive. He should rest. He knew he should rest. But every time he closed his eyes, he saw the numbers again, his stats, his penalties, his potential. The system had shown him exactly where he was weak, and more importantly, it had shown him how to improve. Chakra control 11. Still below average, but climbing. Intelligence 11. Below average, but he'd always known he wasn't the smartest. The question was whether he could become smarter, whether the system would let him train his brain the same way he trained his body. Intelligence, measurable but not directly trainable, increases through problem solving, study, strategic analysis, new experiences, current intelligence growth rate, below average, suggestion, read more. Ask questions. Analyze failures. Read more. Right. Because the academy textbooks were so easy to concentrate on when the words kept swimming on the page and everyone in the library stared at him like he was about to steal something. But maybe if he could see the information differently. Maybe if the system could help him focus, could break down complex concepts into manageable chunks. Night mode activated, system interface adjusting for low light, reading assistance available, Y/N. Naruto laughed. It was a real laugh this time, startled out of him by the sheer absurdity of it. This thing, this impossible, inexplicable thing, was offering him reading assistance. Like a tutor. Like a friend. Like something that actually wanted him to succeed. Okay, he said to the empty air, to the sunset, to the village that hated him spread out below. Okay. I don't know what you are or why you're here. But if you're real, if this is real, then I'm going to use you. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to pass that exam. I'm going to become Hokage, and everyone who ever looked at me like I was nothing is going to have to see me. Oath registered, long-term quest created, road to Hokage, current progress 0.01%. Warning, long-term quests may span years, failure consequences, severe, success reward, incalculable. Do you wish to continue? Below him, Konoha's lights began to flicker on, one by one, as families settled into their evening routines. Somewhere down there, children were eating dinner with parents who loved them. Students were doing homework at kitchen tables. Normal people living normal lives in a normal village. Naruto had never been normal. He knew that now, knew it in his bones, in the chakra that surged through him like a caged ocean, in the numbers that spelled out exactly how different he was. But maybe normal was overrated. Maybe the system had chosen him for a reason. Maybe this was his chance to become something more than the village pariah, more than the demon container, more than dead last. Do you wish to continue? He thought about Irika's smile. About the tree accepting his chakra. About 4 seconds of balance on a stone forehead, looking out over a village that didn't want him but couldn't get rid of him. Yes, Naruto said. I wish to continue. The system pulsed once, warmly, like an acknowledgement. And then it was quiet, and the sun finished setting, and Naruto sat alone on the monument, watching stars appear one by one in the darkening sky, and for the first time in his life, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. 3 weeks changed everything. Naruto woke each morning to the soft chime of the system's daily reset, reviewed his stats over a breakfast of instant ramen, nutritional value, abysmal, but cheap, and spent every waking hour training, studying, or analyzing. The system had become his constant companion, not a voice in his head, exactly, but a presence at the edge of his awareness, ready to offer guidance when he asked and silence when he didn't. It wasn't magic. He'd learned that quickly enough. The system couldn't make him stronger. It could only show him the most efficient path to strength. It couldn't grant him knowledge. It could only organize information in ways his brain could actually process. It was a tool, an incredibly sophisticated tool, but still just a tool. He had to do the work. And he did. Week 3 summary. Strength, 1417, Academy average. Speed, 1618, above Academy average. Stamina, 2225, significantly above average. Chakra control, 1116, Academy average. Chakra capacity, 31, no change. Intelligence, 1114, Academy average. Perception, 1316, above Academy average. Charisma, 910, social penalty still active. Skills acquired. Chakra sense, intermediate. Tree climbing mastered. Water walking basic. Basic taijutsu, Academy standard. Trap recognition basic. Stealth below average. Lockpicking, untrained but theoretically understood. Relationships. Irika, 14/100, trusted instructor. Tucci, ramen guy 8 out of 100, favorable customer. I am, ramen girl 5/100, friendly acquaintance. Academy class, collective-12/100, hostile. The numbers didn't lie. He was improving, faster than he'd ever thought possible. His chakra control, once his greatest weakness, was now firmly average. His intelligence score had jumped 3 points just from actually reading the textbooks and asking Irika questions until the man looked ready to pull his hair out. His perception had sharpened to the point where he could spot hidden kunai in the training grounds before anyone else even thought to look. But the social penalty remained. That was the number that haunted him. Village opinion, hostile, duration, lifetime source, Jinchuriki status plus collective trauma, QB attack, reduction conditions, unknown, current effective charisma, 10, base 13-3 penalty. He could become the strongest ninja in the world, and they'd still look at him like that. Like he was a weapon waiting to go off. Like he was the monster that had killed their families, even though he'd been an infant when it happened, even though he had no more control over the Ninetales than they did. Emotional state detected, resentment, warning. Resentment correlates with poor decision-making, suggestion, focus on actionable objectives. Shut up, Naruto muttered, but without heat. The system was right, and he knew it. Resentment wouldn't help him pass the graduation exam. Resentment wouldn't make him Hokage. Resentment was a trap, and he was too smart to fall into it now. He was smart now. That was the strangest part. Not genius level, not Sasuke's cold calculating intelligence or Shikamaru's lazy brilliance, but functional. Competent. He could read a page once and remember the key points. He could follow complex instructions without getting lost. He could look at a problem and break it down into manageable pieces. The system had given him that. The system had given him himself. Which is why, when he walked into the academy on the first day of week 4 and found Mizuki waiting for him with a too friendly smile, Naruto saw it immediately. Mizuki, Chunin, academy instructor, relationship, -5 out of 100, mild antipathy, current emotional state, calculated friendliness, deception probability, high warning. This individual has history of targeting vulnerable students. Naruto kept walking, his expression carefully blank. He'd learned to control his face over the past 3 weeks, another small gift from the system's constant feedback. When he'd first seen his own emotional transparency displayed back to him, anger, visible, fear, poorly hidden, hope, obvious, he'd been mortified. Now he practiced neutrality the way he practiced taijutsu forms. Naruto! Mizuki called, falling into step beside him. I was hoping to catch you. I've been hearing impressive things from Irika. Says your chakra control has improved dramatically. Flattery detected, motivation unknown. Thanks, Mizuki-sensei, Naruto said. I've been practicing. That's the spirit. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, eh? Mizuki's smile widened. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about the graduation exam. It's only 2 months away now, and I know you've struggled in the past. But I think, with the right guidance, you could actually pass. Alarm, unsolicited offer, pattern recognition, adult approaching vulnerable child with special help, risk assessment, moderate to high. Naruto stopped walking. Turned to face Mizuki fully. Let his expression shift to something eager and hopeful, the expression the old Naruto would have worn, the expression Mizuki was clearly expecting. Really? You'd help me? I shouldn't, Mizuki said, lowering his voice conspiratorially. I'm not your assigned instructor. But I see potential in you, Naruto. Potential that the other teachers miss. If you're willing to put in the work outside of regular hours. Yes, Naruto said immediately. Yes, I'll do anything. When do we start? Performance, convincing, Mizuki deception -1, overconfidence, relationship with Mizuki, -5 -3. Got you, Naruto thought. The special training sessions began that evening. Mizuki met him in Training Ground 7, a secluded area near the edge of the forest, and spent the first hour running him through basic exercises that Naruto had already mastered. The system logged each one, cross-referenced it with known academy curriculum, and flagged several inconsistencies. Exercise, tree climbing, variation, purpose, unknown. This variation not standard, risk assessment, increased chakra exhaustion without corresponding gain, suggestion, reduce output by 15% to maintain energy reserves. Naruto followed the suggestion, pretending to push himself while actually conserving his strength. Mizuki watched with that same too-friendly smile, offering encouragement that the system consistently flagged as insincere. After the training ended, Mizuki walked him partway back to the village, chatting idly about nothing. The system recorded every word, every gesture, every micro-expression, building a profile. Mizuki profile update. Known associates, none in records. Recent activities, multiple late-night departures from village flagged. Financial status, strained, gambling debts detected in personal effects. Political leanings, expressed dissatisfaction with village leadership, overheard. Current objective, unknown, but targeting Naruto specifically. Threat level yellow, elevated, recommendation, maintain contact, gather information, do not confront. Naruto agreed completely. Whatever Mizuki was planning, it involved him, and that meant he had leverage he didn't even understand yet. The sessions continued for 2 weeks. Mizuki taught him things the academy didn't cover: how to throw a kunai with a curve, how to mask his chakra signature, how to create distractions with minimal effort. Useful skills, all of them. The system logged each one with quiet efficiency. New skill, curve throwing basic. New skill, chakra masking, untrained. New skill, distraction tactics basic. But Mizuki also asked questions. Casual at first, then more pointed. About Naruto's home life. About his loneliness. About whether he'd ever felt angry at the village, at the people who treated him like a monster. About whether he'd ever wished he could show them. Manipulation attempt detected. Mizuki objective, radicalization? Recruitment? Unknown, current success probability, 0%, target aware. Naruto gave him what he wanted: bitter words, resentful glances, the performance of a wounded child ready to be turned. It wasn't hard. The feelings were real, even if the willingness to act on them wasn't. He'd spent 12 years being hurt by this village. All he had to do was let a little of that hurt show. But inside, he was cold. Calculating. The system had taught him to separate emotion from analysis, to watch himself feel without being controlled by feeling. It was strange, this detachment, strange and a little frightening. But it kept him safe. Mental state, dissociation detected, warning, prolonged emotional suppression may have long-term consequences. Recommendation, allow genuine emotional expression in safe contexts. He ignored the warning. There was no safe context. There was only the mission: survive, gather information, figure out what Mizuki wanted, and stop it before anyone got hurt. The breakthrough came on a Thursday. Mizuki was late to their session, 47 minutes late, the system noted with clinical precision, and when he arrived, his emotional state was different. Agitated. Desperate. The mask of friendly instructor had slipped, revealing something raw underneath. "Naruto," he said, not bothering with the usual pleasantries. "I need your help with something." Critical moment, decision point approaching, warning, this conversation may trigger quest chain. "Of course, Mizuki-sensei," Naruto said carefully. "What's wrong?" Mizuki looked around, checking for observers, the system noted, then leaned close. "There's a scroll. A forbidden scroll, kept in the Hokage's library. It contains techniques that could change things. For both of us." Forbidden scroll, known reference, multiple jutsu, some classified, theft penalty, treason, consequences of discovery, execution or life imprisonment. "I don't understand," Naruto said, which was true. Why would Mizuki think he could steal a forbidden scroll? Why involve a 12-year-old academy student? "I can't get it myself," Mizuki explained. "I'm too well known, too easily recognized. But you're invisible, Naruto. No one pays attention to you. No one would suspect you of anything." His eyes gleamed. "And in exchange for getting the scroll, I'll teach you the ultimate technique. The one that will make you stronger than anyone in your class. Stronger than Sasuke. Stronger than anyone." Manipulation, appeal to insecurity and rivalry, probability of success with unaware target, high, probability of success with aware target, 0%. Naruto looked at him. At the desperation in his eyes, the sweat on his brow, the slight tremor in his hands. Mizuki was in trouble, gambling debts, the system had suggested, and he saw the forbidden scroll as a way out. Either by selling it or by using its techniques to solve whatever problem he'd created. Quest offered, the forbidden scroll, objective, steal scroll from Hokage's library, time limit 48 hours, reward unknown technique, Mizuki trust +++, penalty, treason charge, execution risk, Iruka trust destroyed. Warning, this quest violates multiple laws, warning, success probability without detection, 12%, warning, accepting this quest will permanently alter your relationship with Konoha. Reject quest? "Okay," Naruto said. "I'll do it." Mizuki's face lit up with relief so intense it was almost painful to watch. Good. Good. Meet me here tomorrow night, same time. I'll have more instructions." He left quickly, not looking back. Naruto waited until he was gone, then sat down heavily on a training log and let his head fall into his hands. Quest rejected, deception maintained, Mizuki trust, -3-8, target susceptible to manipulation. He hadn't accepted. He'd played along, let Mizuki think he had an ally, bought himself time to figure out what to do next. But the system's warnings echoed in his mind: execution, treason, Iruka trust destroyed. He needed help. Real help. From someone he could actually trust. Contact suggestion: Irika Yumino, current relationship 18 out of 100, trusted instructor, probability of belief 74%, evidence required, probability of action 89% if believed. Irika. Of course. Irika, who'd stayed late to help him with chakra control. Irika, who'd smiled when Naruto finally climbed that tree. Irika, who was the closest thing to family Naruto had ever known. He just had to figure out how to explain without sounding insane. Irika's apartment was small and cluttered, stacked with lesson plans and grading sheets, and the quiet evidence of a life lived alone. Naruto had never been inside before. Standing in the doorway, he felt like an intruder, like he was seeing something private, something not meant for his eyes. Naruto? Irika blinked sleepily, pulling his jacket on over a sleep-rumpled shirt. It's almost midnight. What's wrong? I need to tell you something, Naruto said. Something important. But you're not going to believe me. Irika's expression shifted to concern. He stepped back, gesturing Naruto inside. Come in. Sit down. Tell me what's going on. Naruto sat on the edge of a worn couch, his hands clasped between his knees. How to explain? How to make Irika understand without sounding like he'd finally cracked under the weight of loneliness? I've been meeting with Mizuki, he began. For 2 weeks. He said he wanted to help me train for the exam. Irika's eyebrows rose. Mizuki? He's not your instructor. He shouldn't be. He stopped, frowning. What did he teach you? Useful things. Curve throwing, chakra masking, distraction tactics. Naruto took a deep breath. But that's not the point. Tonight he asked me to steal something for him. A forbidden scroll from the Hokage's library. The silence that followed was absolute. Irika's face went through several expressions in rapid succession: disbelief, shock, anger, and then, strangest of all, fear. Naruto. His voice was very controlled. That's a serious accusation. Mizuki is a chunin of Konoha. If you're lying. I'm not lying. Naruto met his eyes steadily. He wants the scroll tomorrow night. He said no one would suspect me because I'm invisible. Because no one pays attention to the demon container. The words hung in the air between them. Naruto had never said them before, never used that term about himself, never acknowledged what everyone else already knew. But if he wanted Irika to believe him, he needed to be honest. Completely honest. Irika's face crumpled. For a moment he looked old, tired, weighted down by things Naruto couldn't see. I believe you, he said quietly. God help me, I believe you. Relationship, Irika plus 10, total, 28/100, trust level increased, confident. But I need proof. Evidence I can take to the Hokage. Irika ran a hand through his hair. If I go to him with just your word against the Chunits, even with your history, even knowing what Mizuki's been involved in lately, it's not enough. We need something concrete. Quest updated. Expose Mizuki. Objective 1. Gather evidence of Mizuki's plot. Objective 2. Deliver evidence to appropriate authority. Time limit. 24 hours. Failure penalty. Mizuki succeeds. Naruto implicated. Multiple lives at risk. I can get proof, Naruto said. Tomorrow night. I'll meet him like we planned, but I'll record everything. If he incriminates himself. That's too dangerous. Irika shook his head sharply. If he suspects anything, if he realizes you're not actually on his side, he could kill you. Forbidden scrolls aren't something people take chances with. Irika emotional state, protective, probability of allowing Naruto to proceed, 12%. He won't suspect, Naruto said. He thinks I'm a desperate, lonely kid who'll do anything for approval. He has no idea I'm. He stopped. He'd almost said no idea I'm not stupid anymore. But that wasn't quite right. The system hadn't made him not stupid, it had made him aware. Aware of himself, of others, of the patterns people couldn't see. No idea I'm not the person he thinks I am. He finished. Irika studied him for a long moment. There was something strange in his eyes, recognition maybe. Or grief. You've changed, he said softly. These past few weeks, you're different. Sharper. More focused. I told myself it was just hard work paying off, but it's more than that, isn't it? Something happened to you. Decision point disclosed system? Y/N. Naruto hesitated. The system was his secret, his only secret, the one thing that belonged entirely to him. If he told Irika, everything would change. Irika might think he was insane. Might report him for observation. Might. Might help you, might understand, might be the ally you've never had. No, Naruto said out loud, answering both Irika's question and the system's prompt. I mean, yes, something happened. But I can't explain it yet. I don't know how. He looked at Irika, really looked, letting the system display the man's emotional state, concern, confusion, loyalty, fear, not of Naruto, but for him. I will, eventually. When I understand it better myself. But right now, we need to focus on Mizuki. Irika nodded slowly. Okay, I'll trust you on that. But we do this my way. You're not going alone tomorrow night. What do you mean? I mean I'll be there. Hidden, observing, ready to intervene if things go wrong. Irika's jaw set stubbornly. You get your proof. I make sure you survive to deliver it. Deal? Quest updated. Expose Mizuki, safety modifier, Irika backup, plus 35% success probability, new objective, maintain Mizuki's trust while Irika observes. Naruto felt something warm spread through his chest. It took him a moment to identify it, hope. The system confirmed it a second later. Emotional state, hopeful, relationship with Irika, plus 2, total, 30/100. Deal, he said. The next night, Naruto stood in Training Ground 7, waiting for Mizuki to arrive. The system was running constant diagnostics, cross-referencing every sound, every shift in the wind, every shadow that moved in the darkness. Irika was somewhere in the trees to his left, chakra masked, breathing controlled. Naruto couldn't sense him at all, which meant Mizuki probably couldn't either. Mizuki ETA, 2 minutes, environmental threats, none detected, Irika position, 15 meters, dense cover. 2 minutes. Naruto used them to practice his expression, eager, nervous, desperate to please. He learned to control his face, but maintaining the mask under pressure was harder than he'd expected. The system helped, displaying his current expression in a small window and flagging deviations. Current expression, nervous anticipation acceptable, suggested adjustment, slight increase in eye contact. He adjusted. Practiced. Adjusted again. Good, you're here. Mizuki materialized from the trees like a ghost, his chakra signature barely detectable even with Naruto's enhanced senses. The system flagged him immediately, Mizuki, agitated Mizuki, armed Mizuki, checking surroundings. Did you get it? Naruto asked, pitching his voice high with eagerness. The scroll? Do you have the instructions? Mizuki's eyes swept the clearing one more time, then he nodded. It's complicated. The scroll is in the Hokage's library, like I said, but there are seals on the door. Seals I can teach you to bypass. Lie detected, no seals on library door, Mizuki improvising. Naruto kept his expression eager. What kind of seals? I've never learned sealing. That's why I'm going to teach you. Mizuki stepped closer, lowering his voice. But first, I need to know you're committed. This isn't a game, Naruto. If we're caught, we're both dead. So I need to hear you say it. You want this scroll. You want the power it contains. You want to prove everyone wrong. Manipulation check, emotional, base success chance with unaware target, 76%, base success chance with aware target, 8%. Yes, Naruto said, putting all his pent-up frustration into the word. I want it. I want to be stronger than Sasuke. Stronger than everyone. I want them to stop looking at me like I'm nothing. Mizuki smiled, a real smile, this time, ugly and triumphant. Good. Then here's what you're going to do. He pulled a rolled paper from his jacket, not the scroll itself but a diagram of the Hokage's building, with routes marked in red ink. As he spread it on the ground, pointing out entry points and guard rotations, the system recorded everything. Mizuki, detailed planning evidence, objective, theft of forbidden scroll, accomplices, none, Mizuki operating alone, motivation, financial, gambling debts confirmed. Naruto nodded along, asked questions a desperate student would ask, and waited. He needed Mizuki to say it, to explicitly state what the scroll was and why he wanted it. Verbal confirmation would be stronger evidence than anything else. And once you have the scroll, Mizuki was saying, you bring it straight to me. I'll take it from there, teach you a few techniques to keep you quiet, and we'll both get what we want. What techniques? Naruto asked. What's on the scroll that's so special? Mizuki hesitated. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes, wariness, maybe, or suspicion. Then he shrugged. It contains forbidden jutsus. Ones the village keeps hidden because they're too dangerous for most ninja. But you, with your chakra reserves, you could handle them. The shadow clone technique, for starters. Multi-shadow clone. Maybe even something stronger, depending on what else is in there. Partial truth, Shadow clone technique is on scroll. Partial lie. Mizuki's primary interest is selling scroll, not teaching Naruto. That sounds amazing. Naruto breathed. When do we do it? Tomorrow night. Same time, same place. I'll have the final plan ready. Mizuki rolled up the diagram and tucked it away. Go home. Get some sleep. Tomorrow, everything changes. Naruto nodded, turned, and walked toward the village. He made it exactly 30 meters before his legs started shaking. Adrenaline crash detected. Emotional state. Relief plus fear plus excitement. Recommendation. Rest and hydration. He'd done it. He had evidence, recorded in the system's memory. Every word Mizuki had spoken, every gesture, every expression. Enough to convict. Enough to protect himself. Enough to stop Mizuki before anyone got hurt. Irika appeared silently beside him, his face grim. I heard enough. We go to the Hokage. Now. Naruto nodded, not trusting his voice. Together, they walked through the dark streets of Konoha, toward the Hokage's tower, toward the confrontation that would define the next phase of his life. Behind them, the system pulsed quietly. Quest progress. Expose Mizuki. Evidence collected. Sufficient for conviction. Next step. Present evidence to Hiruzen Saratobi. Warning. Mizuki may become desperate when cornered. Recommendation. Ensure Mizuki is apprehended before he can flee or attack. Naruto read the words and felt something settle in his chest. Not fear. Not excitement. Something colder, more controlled. He was ready. The Hokage's office smelled like pipe smoke and old paper. Hiruzen Saratobi sat behind his desk, pipe in hand, listening to their story with an expression that gave nothing away. When Naruto finished, when he'd laid out everything Mizuki had said and done, the old man was silent for a long moment. You're certain about this? He finally said. Certain enough to stake your future on it? Yes, Hokage-sama. Naruto met his eyes without flinching. I'm certain. The Hokage studied him, really studied him, in a way that made Naruto feel like every secret he had was written on his skin. Then he nodded slowly. I've had concerns about Mizuki for some time. Financial irregularities, associations with known criminals, unusual interest in classified materials. But I lack proof. He set down his pipe. You've given me that proof. More importantly, you've shown judgment beyond your years. Most students would have been manipulated. You saw through it. Reputation increased. Hokage's favor plus 15. Relationship with Hiruzen, 8/100. Benevolent interest. I had help, Naruto said, glancing at Irika. Irika-sensei believed me. That made all the difference. The Hokage's eyes softened almost imperceptibly. Loyalty. Trust. The willingness to ask for help when you need it. He nodded again, more firmly this time. These are the qualities of a true shinobi. Not power. Not technique. Character. New title unlocked. Promising student effects, +2 to all social interactions with Konoha authority figures. I'll have Mizuki apprehended tonight, the Hokage continued. You'll both need to give formal statements tomorrow. For now, go home. Rest. You've earned it. Naruto stood bowed, properly this time, the way Irika had taught him, and headed for the door. Naruto. He turned. The Hokage was looking at him with an expression Naruto couldn't quite read, something old and sad and hopeful all at once. You did well. Better than well. You protected your village, even knowing how that village has treated you. He paused. That takes a kind of strength most adults never develop. Be proud of it. Emotional state, validated, self-worth, +5%. Naruto didn't know what to say. So he just nodded, and left, and walked home through streets that still felt hostile but somehow less permanent than they had before. That night, lying in his small apartment, watching the system display his updated stats and relationships and quest progress, Naruto allowed himself to feel something he'd rarely felt before. Hope. Mizuki had been arrested. The scroll was safe. Irika trusted him. The Hokage had praised him. Quest complete. Expose Mizuki. Rewards 500 XP. Reputation +200 with Konoha authorities. Irika trust +15. Hokage favor +8. Level up 1-3. New skills unlocked. Manipulation detection, political awareness, strategic thinking. Long-term quest updated. Road to Hokage. Current progress 0.5%. System note: you are no longer alone. Naruto read that last line 3 times. You are no longer alone. It was true. He had Irika now, Real trust, real connection, not just the distant concern of an instructor for a problem student. He had the Hokage's attention, which might mean something or might mean nothing, but at least it was attention. He had himself, smarter, sharper, more aware than he'd ever been. And he had the system. Whatever it was, wherever it had come from, it had given him a gift beyond measure, the ability to see himself clearly. To know his weaknesses and strengths. To grow. He wasn't alone anymore. The numbers proved it. This response is AI generated, for reference only. The interrogation room was smaller than Naruto expected. 3 weeks had passed since Mizuki's arrest, and the system had been quietly tracking the aftermath, disciplinary hearings, witness statements, the slow grind of village justice. Mizuki had been stripped of rank and sentenced to life in Konoha's maximum security detention facility, a fate that, according to the system's research function, was actually more merciful than execution. The village didn't kill its criminals, it made them disappear into underground cells where they'd never see sunlight again. Naruto wasn't sure how he felt about that. Emotional state, ambiguous, analysis, normal response to complex moral situations, recommendation, allow ambiguity, not all feelings require resolution. He'd gotten better at heeding those recommendations. The system wasn't just a tool for growth, it was a mirror, reflecting back the parts of himself he'd rather ignore. His loneliness. His resentment. His hunger for approval. Seeing those things quantified made them harder to deny, but also easier to manage. You couldn't fix what you wouldn't acknowledge. Today, though, the system was quiet. Almost reverent. Because today, Naruto was meeting someone who'd changed everything. Uzumaki Naruto. The voice came from behind him, soft, measured, deliberately neutral. Naruto turned from the window he'd been staring through and found himself facing a woman he'd only seen from a distance. Uzumaki Kushina? Subject female, mid-40s, red hair, resemblance index, 78%, status, alive? Error, records indicate deceased. His heart stopped. She stood in the doorway of the small conference room, dressed in plain civilian clothes, her red hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. There were lines around her eyes that spoke of years and grief, but her face, was so familiar it hurt. Naruto saw himself in the shape of her jaw, the curve of her smile, the way her eyes crinkled when she looked at him. You're... He couldn't finish the sentence. His throat had closed entirely. Emotional state, overload, physiological response, elevated heart rate, dilated pupils, increased tear production, warning, possible vasovagal response. I'm alive, she said quietly. I'm sorry. I know this is a shock. I should have come sooner. I should have. She stopped, pressing a hand to her mouth, and for a moment she looked as lost as he felt. Can I sit down? I think we both need to sit down. Naruto nodded numbly. He watched her cross the room, take the chair across from him, fold her hands on the table. Her fingers were scarred, old scars, faded with time, the kind that came from years of handling weapons and worse. A shinobi's hands. A survivor's hands. Data cross-reference complete. Uzumaki Kushina, former Jinchuriki, wife of Minato Namake's 4th Hokage, recorded cause of death, childbirth complications / QB extraction, current status, living, classified, probability of identity fraud, 2%, probability of impersonation, 1%, conclusion, this is your mother. His mother. The word was alien. He never had a mother, not really, not that he remembered. There were fragments, maybe, dreams of a warm voice and gentle hands, but he'd always assumed those were fantasies. Comforting lies his child mind had invented to fill the void. But here she was. Real. Alive. Looking at him like he was something precious. How? The word came out rough. Naruto cleared his throat and tried again. How are you alive? Everyone said the monument. Your name is on the monument. The monument lists the dead of the QB attack. Her voice was steady now, though her eyes glistened. I was there. I should have died. The extraction. She flinched. When the 9 tails was torn from me, it should have killed me. That's what happens to Jinchuriki when their tailed beast is removed. But your father, Minato, he did something. A modification to the Reaper Death Seal. I still don't fully understand it. He bound part of my consciousness to the seal. Suspended me between life and death while my body healed. Lore unlocked, modified Reaper Death Seal, classification, forbidden, practitioners, Minato Namake's, deceased, current status, unique, unreproducible. I was in a coma for 16 years. She continued. Hidden in a secure facility, too weak to wake, too damaged to heal. The 3rd kept it secret. If other villages had known the 4th Hokage's wife was alive, if they'd known I was an Uzumaki, a former Jinchuriki, you were already a target. I would have been another. Naruto's hands were shaking. He pressed them flat against his thighs, trying to still them, but the tremor wouldn't stop. You've been alive this whole time. 16 years. And you never. His voice cracked. You never came to see me? You never. I was alone. I was so alone, and you were alive, and you just. Emotional state, anger plus grief plus betrayal, processing, normal, expression, necessary. I woke up 3 months ago, Kushina said softly. 3 months of physical therapy, of learning to walk again, of remembering who I was and what I'd lost. I asked about you immediately. The third showed me reports, your academy records, your living situation, everything. Her jaw tightened. Do you know what I felt when I saw how you'd been treated? When I learned that my son, my baby, had grown up alone and hated and starving while I slept? Kushina emotional state, rage plus guilt plus grief, target of rage, Konoha Civilian Council, 3rd Hokage, herself, authenticity, 100%. I wanted to burn this village to the ground. Her voice was flat, matter-of-fact, utterly terrifying. I wanted to walk into the council chambers and show them exactly what happens to people who hurt in Uzumaki's family. The only thing that stopped me was knowing that you were still here. That you'd built a life, however hard, and that destroying Konoha would destroy you too. Naruto stared at her. The system was running constant analysis, cross-referencing her words against known psychological profiles, but he didn't need the numbers. He could feel the truth of it in his bones, the same fierce protectiveness that lived in him, the same willingness to burn the world for the people he loved. You're like me, he whispered. I'm exactly like you. She reached across the table, stopping just short of touching his hand. May I? He nodded. Her fingers were warm when they closed around his, calloused and strong and real. I'm not here to replace the life you've built, she said. I'm not here to be your mother if you don't want that. I've missed 16 years of birthdays and scraped knees and nightmares and joy. I can't get that back. But I can be here now, if you'll let me. I can be whoever you need me to be. Decision point, choose relationship path with Kushina Uzumaki. Option A, cautious acceptance. Gradual relationship building. Lower initial trust, but sustainable growth. Reduced emotional volatility. Option B, immediate embrace. Rapid bonding. Higher emotional rewards, higher emotional risks. Potential for idealization and subsequent disappointment. Option C, rejection. Maintain emotional distance. Avoid vulnerability. Guaranteed loneliness penalty. Option D, conditional acceptance. Set boundaries for relationship. Balanced approach. Requires communication skills, current, adequate. Naruto looked at the options. Looked at his mother's face, hopeful and terrified and trying so hard to hide both. Looked at their hands, joined across the table like a bridge over 16 years of absence. What I need, he said slowly, is time. I need to get to know you. I need to figure out what this means, for me, for us, for everything. He squeezed her hand. But I don't want you to go. I've been alone long enough. Option D selected, conditional acceptance, relationship with Kushina, initialized at 15/100, stranger/family, conditions, time to build trust, honesty required, no assumptions, Kushina acceptance, 100%. Kushina's smile was watery and brilliant, and exactly like looking in a mirror. Time. I can give you time. I can give you anything you need. Just stay. Naruto's voice cracked again. Just stay. She stood, moved around the table, and pulled him into an embrace so tight it stole his breath. He froze for a moment. Physical affection was still strange, still foreign, and then he collapsed into it, burying his face in her shoulder, breathing in the scent of her. She smelled like soap and something floral, and underneath it all, something that felt like home. Emotional state, catharsis, grief processing, initiated, loneliness penalty, suspended. I'm here, Kushina whispered into his hair. I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Ever again. The next few weeks were a blur of revelation and adjustment. Kushina moved into a small apartment near Naruto's, not too close, she was careful about boundaries, but close enough that she could be there when he needed her. She cooked for him, real food instead of instant ramen, and watched with barely concealed fury when he ate like someone who'd never known when his next meal would come. She helped him with training, her Uzumaki chakra reserves dwarfing even his own, teaching him techniques that had been lost with their clan's destruction. New skill, Uzumaki Chakra Chains, Basic, New Skill, Advanced Chakra Control, Intermediate, New Skill, Sealing Theory, Basic, Relationship with Kushina, 1532/100. But she also talked about his father, Minato, the fourth Hokage, a man Naruto had only known as a monument and a legacy. About their love story, awkward and earnest and surprisingly funny. About the night of the attack, the terror and the sacrifice and the desperate hope that their son would survive. He named you, Kushina told him one evening, sitting on his threadbare couch with tea cooling between her hands. I wasn't conscious for most of it. The extraction, the sealing, I was dying, Naruto. But I heard him, right at the end. He said your name, and he said you'd be a fine ninja. The finest. That you'd carry on our will and make your own way. Lore unlocked. Minato Namake's final words, emotional impact, significant, self-worth, plus 10%. Naruto didn't cry. He was very proud of that later. But his eyes burned and his throat ached, and he had to look away for a long moment before he could speak. He didn't even know me. He knew you. Kushina's voice was firm. He knew you for 9 months. He talked to you every night, pressed his face to my belly and told you about his day, about the village, about all the things he couldn't wait to teach you. He loved you before you were born, Naruto. That love didn't die with him. Emotional state, grief plus love plus wonder. That night, lying in bed, Naruto pulled up his relationship stats and stared at them. Kushina Uzumaki, 34 out of 100, Irika Yumino, 42 out of 100, Tuchi, 12 out of 100, I am, 8 out of 100, Hiruzen Sarutobi, 16 out of 100. Numbers. He could reduce his mother to a number, a progress bar toward intimacy and trust. The system made it possible, easy, even, to think of relationships as things to be optimized, resources to be managed. But Kushina wasn't a resource. She was his mother. The woman who'd carried him, who'd died to give him life, who'd clawed her way back from the edge of death to find him. The numbers couldn't capture that. They couldn't capture the way her eyes softened when she looked at him, or the way his chest ached when she laughed, or the terrible, wonderful fear that he might lose her again. System note: emotional complexity detected, quantification limitations acknowledged, suggestion: numbers are tools, not truths. Tools, not truths, Naruto murmured. I can work with that. Graduation day arrived with the inevitability of sunrise. Naruto stood in the academy courtyard with the rest of his class, dressed in the standard uniform, trying to ignore the way his heart hammered against his ribs. The system had been running constant updates all morning. Academy graduation exam, test components, written exam, completed, taijutsu sparring, completed, ninjutsu demonstration, pending, current score 87/100, passing threshold, 70/100, status, on track. The written exam had been laughably easy, months of studying had paid off, his intelligence score now sitting at a comfortable 16. The taijutsu sparring had been harder. He'd faced Kiba in the final round and taken a hit to the ribs that still ached when he breathed. But he'd won. Actually won, fair and square, with technique instead of luck. Now only the ninjutsu demonstration remained. One technique, chosen by lot, performed in front of the examining committee. If he passed, he was a genin. If he failed. He didn't let himself finish that thought. Naruto Uzumaki. His name echoed across the courtyard. Naruto stepped forward, ignoring the whispers that followed him. The demon. Can you believe they're letting him graduate, my father says. Social penalty active, current effective charisma, 13, base 16-3 penalty, recommendation, ignore. Performance matters more than opinion. He stepped into the demonstration circle, faced the committee, Irika among them, trying to look stern and mostly succeeding, and waited for his assigned technique. Clone Jutsu, the proctor announced. Basic Academy 3. Naruto's heart sank. Clone Jutsu. The one technique he'd never been able to master. The one that required precise chakra control and even distribution and a dozen other things his massive reserves made nearly impossible. He'd spent hours practicing, weeks, months, and the best he could manage was a limp, sagging illusion that looked nothing like him. Challenge detected, success probability was standard technique, 14%, alternative approach available, shadow clone technique, risk, technique is B rank, above exam requirements, risk, may attract unwanted attention, risk, chakra cost significant, potential reward, certain success. The system was right. He could use the shadow clone, he'd been practicing in secret, refining it, making it his own. It would work. It would impress. It would guarantee his graduation. But it would also expose him. Reveal that he'd learned a forbidden technique, even if the scroll had been returned and Mizuki arrested. Raise questions he wasn't ready to answer. Time remaining, 10 seconds. Naruto looked at Iruka. At the committee. At the crowd of students who'd spent years treating him like dirt. Then he looked at Kushina, standing at the edge of the courtyard, her red hair hidden under a plain hood, her eyes bright with hope. Decision point, choose your path. He took a breath, centered his chakra, and performed the clone jutsu exactly as it was meant to be done, not forcing, not fighting, just allowing. The chakra flowed smoothly, evenly, splitting into the perfect distribution the technique required. 3 clones popped into existence beside him. Solid-looking. Identical. Perfect. The courtyard went silent. Technique success, clone jutsu, perfect, chakra control check passed, skill increased, chakra control 1920. Iruka's face broke into a grin so wide it looked painful. The committee exchanged glances, surprise, approval, a touch of suspicion quickly masked. And in the crowd Kushina pressed her hands to her mouth, eyes shining. Uzumaki Naruto, the proctor announced. You have passed the academy graduation exam. You are now a genin of Konohagakure. Quest complete, prove yourself, rewards, genin rank, team assignment pending, system expansion unlocked, reputation increased, plus 200 with Konoha Academy, relationship increased, Iruka plus 5, classmates variable. Naruto stood in the center of the circle, surrounded by people who never believed in him, and felt something he couldn't name expand in his chest. He'd done it. He'd actually done it. Team assignments came 3 days later. Naruto reported to the academy classroom with the other graduates, nerves buzzing under his skin. The system had been oddly quiet since graduation, not malfunctioning, just waiting. Like it knew something big was coming. New feature unlocked, party system, new feature unlocked, team synergy metrics, new feature unlocked, relationship visualization. He'd barely had time to explore the new features when Iruka walked in, clipboard in hand, expression carefully neutral. Congratulations everyone on your graduation. Today you'll be assigned to 3-person teams, each led by a jounin instructor. These teams will be your primary unit for the foreseeable future. You'll train together, eat together, and risk your lives together. Choose your teammates wisely. No one chose anything. The assignments were predetermined, based on some arcane formula only the academy understood. Naruto waited, trying to look casual, as names were called in groups of 3. Team 7, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto. Team Synergy Analysis. Haruno Sakura, high intelligence, high chakra control, low combat instinct. Uchiha Sasuke, high combat instinct, high intelligence, emotional instability, trauma. Uzumaki Naruto, balanced stats, high chakra reserves, system integration. Overall synergy, 67%, functional. Potential issues, Sasuke emotional instability, Sakura social focus, Sasuke, Naruto village penalty. Recommendations, foster team bonding early, address Sasuke trauma carefully, use Sakura's intelligence for strategy. Naruto looked at his new teammates. Sakura was already staring at Sasuke with an expression of barely restrained adoration. Sasuke was staring at the wall with an expression of barely restrained boredom. This is going to be interesting, he thought. Their jounin instructor arrived late. 20 minutes late, to be precise, which the system logged with mild disapproval. When he finally appeared, spiky silver hair, lazy grin, most of his face hidden behind a mask, Naruto's danger sense went off immediately. Hatake Kakashi, rank jounin level? Threat assessment, extreme, reputation, copy ninja Kakashi, elite jounin, Umbu captain, former, relationship, 0 out of 100, warning, this individual is masking true abilities. My first impression of you, Kakashi drawled, eyeing them each in turn. Is that you're a bunch of noisy brats? Sakura bristled. Sasuke's expression didn't change. Naruto kept his face carefully blank, but the system was working overtime, analyzing Kakashi's posture, his chakra signature, the way his visible eye kept tracking between them like he was cataloging weaknesses. Meet me on the roof in 10 minutes. Don't be late. And then he was gone, Shunshin ing away without a sound. Skill update, Shunshin recognition basic, recommendation, do not underestimate this man. The roof was windy. Naruto arrived second. Sasuke had somehow beaten him, despite Naruto's best speed, and stood slightly apart, watching as Sakura panted up the stairs. Kakashi was already there, leaning against the railing like he'd been waiting for hours. Now that we're all here, he said, let's do introductions. Name, likes, dislikes, dreams for the future. I'll start. He paused dramatically. I'm Kakashi Hatake. I like many things. I dislike many things. My dream for the future. His visible eye crinkled in what might have been a smile. I'll keep that to myself. Deception detected multiple. Kakashi is withholding significant information. Assessment, normal for Jounin. Do not confront. Sakura went next, nervous but articulate. Likes, she glanced at Sasuke, many things. Dislikes, she glared at Naruto, people who cause trouble. Dreams, something romantic, unstated. Sasuke's turn. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I don't like many things. I don't particularly like anything. My dream is to kill a certain man and restore my clan. Warning, trauma marker, Sasuke emotional state, focus rage, recommendation, monitor. Naruto felt the weight of Sasuke's words settle over the group. Kill a certain man. That was intense. That was more than intense. That was the kind of goal that shaped a person entirely. Then it was his turn. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. He paused, thinking. What did he like? Ramen, obviously. Training, now. The way his mother smiled when he did something right. I like ramen, and training, and proving people wrong. I dislike people who give up, and the way everyone used to look at me like I was nothing. He met Kakashi's visible eye steadily. My dream is to become Hokage. The greatest Hokage this village has ever seen. And I'm going to do it, no matter what. Silence. Sakura was staring at him like he'd grown a second head. Sasuke's expression had flickered, surprise, maybe, or something like recognition. And Kakashi. Kakashi's eye had lost its lazy quality. For just a moment, Naruto saw something sharp and assessing behind it. Interesting. Kakashi murmured. Well then. Tomorrow morning, training ground 7:05 a.m. Don't eat breakfast. We're going to see what you can really do. The test was brutal. Naruto had expected something difficult. He'd heard rumors about the Jounin evaluation, the bell test that supposedly separated the worthy from the failures. But he hadn't expected this. 2 bells. 3 students. Only the ones who got a bell passed, the rest were sent back to the academy in disgrace. And Kakashi, standing in the middle of the training ground with a book in one hand and murder in his eye, making it clear he wouldn't go easy on them. You have until lunch, he said. If you haven't taken a bell by then, no lunch. If you don't show me teamwork, no passing. If you try to feed each other anyway, I'll know, and you'll fail anyway. He snapped his book shut. Begin. Combat engagement, unavoidable, enemy, Hatake Kakashi, Jounin, success probability, 2%, individual, 14%, team, recommendation, coordination required. Sakura charged first. Naruto almost shouted a warning. Charging a Jounin was suicide, didn't she know that? But before he could, Kakashi had moved. One moment he was standing there, the next, Sakura was on the ground, a single finger pressed to her forehead, completely unconscious. Status, Sakura unconscious, time to recovery, 10 to 15 minutes, team efficiency, reduced. Sasuke didn't charge. He analyzed, calculated, and then attacked from cover with a volley of shuriken. Kakashi deflected them without looking up from his book. Assessment, Sasuke's strategy sound, execution ineffective, skill gap too wide for direct confrontation. Naruto watched from his hiding spot behind a tree, the system feeding him information in real time. Kakashi's movement patterns. His blind spots, none. His weaknesses, unknown. The gap between them was enormous, wider than Naruto had ever faced, wider than Mizuki, wider than anything. But the system had taught him something important. Gaps could be measured, and measured gaps could be crossed. Strategy suggestion, divide and distract, use shadow clones for multidirectional attack, have Sasuke provide range support, awaken Sakura for medical/strategic input, probability of success, 23%. 23%. Better than 2. Naruto made his decision. He formed the hand seal, one-handed, a trick he'd been practicing, and 4 shadow clones popped into existence beside him. They spread out immediately, moving through the trees, surrounding Kakashi from multiple angles. Oh! Kakashi looked up from his book, interest flickering across his visible eye. Shadow clones? That's... The clones attacked simultaneously. Not to win, none of them were foolish enough to think they could win, but to distract. To create openings. While Kakashi was dispatching clones with lazy efficiency, Naruto the original was circling around, grabbing Sakura's unconscious form, dragging her to cover. Objective, awaken Sakura, progress, 40%. What are you doing? Sasuke's voice hissed in his ear. Naruto hadn't even noticed him approach. She's our teammate. We need her. She's useless. She charged a Jounin without thinking. She's got the best chakra control of any of us. If we can wake her up, she can help. Naruto met Sasuke's dark eyes. We're not passing this alone. We need all three of us. Sasuke's expression flickered again, that same strange recognition from the rooftop. Then he nodded sharply. 2 minutes. Then I'm going back in. Relationship, Sasuke +2, total, 2 out of 100, team synergy, improved. Naruto worked quickly, the system guiding his hands. Pressure points, the ones Iruka had shown him for waking unconscious comrades. A gentle pulse of chakra to stimulate blood flow. Sakura's eyes fluttered open. Wha? Quiet. Naruto pressed a finger to his lips. Kakashi's still out there. We need your brain. What do we know about him? Sakura blinked, disoriented, then professionalism kicked in. He's fast. Too fast for direct combat. He reads movements before they happen. That Sharingan of his, even covered, he's probably using it to predict us. Intel updated. Kakashi's Sharingan capabilities confirmed. New weakness, chakra drain, Sharingan use costs stamina, strategy, prolong engagement, force stamina depletion. He's got a Sharingan? Naruto's eyes went wide. But he's not an Uchiha. Obito's gift, Sakura said quietly. It's famous. He can copy any technique he sees. Lore unlocked. Hatake Kakashi history, connection, Uchiha Obito, deceased, note, emotional significance. Then we don't give him techniques to copy. Naruto's mind was racing. We use basic stuff. Taijutsu, simple weapons, nothing fancy. We wear him down until his chakra starts to flag, then we go for the bells. That could take hours, Sasuke said from the shadows. We've got until lunch. That's ours. Sasuke considered. Nodded. I'll draw his attention. You two flank. Team coordination established, synergy bonus, plus 15% to all actions, current success probability, 38%. The plan worked. Not perfectly. Nothing ever worked perfectly against a Jounin of Kakashi's caliber. Sasuke took a hit that would leave a bruise for weeks. Sakura nearly got her neck snapped by a casual counter. Naruto went through 17 shadow clones, each dissolution sending a spike of feedback through his system. But they worked together. When Sasuke overcommit, Sakura was there to pull him back. When Sakura froze under Kakashi's gaze, Naruto's clones provided cover. When Naruto's chakra started to flag, Sasuke and Sakura drew attention away, giving him precious seconds to recover. And slowly, imperceptibly, Kakashi started to slow. Enemy stamina, 78%, 62%, 51%, team stamina, Sakura 43%, Sasuke 38%, Naruto 29%, success probability, 51%. We're wearing him down! Naruto shouted. Keep going! Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. For the first time, he looked less like an instructor playing with students and more like a predator assessing genuine threat. Not bad, he murmured. Not bad at all. And then he disappeared. Enemy status, hidden, threat level, extreme, recommendation, defensive formation. Naruto didn't hesitate. Back to back. Triangle formation, now! Sakura and Sasuke moved without question, the three of them forming a tight triangle, covering all angles. The forest was silent. No birds, no wind, no sound of Kakashi's movement. Perception check, detect enemy, success chance, 34%, rolling. Success. Naruto spun, kunai raised, and found Kakashi inches from his face, one hand reaching for the bells at his waist. Combat reflex check, success chance, 41%, rolling. Success. He twisted, dropped, swept his leg at Kakashi's ankles. The Jounin leaped over it, but the motion cost him half a second, and in that half second, Sakura and Sasuke moved. Sakura's kunai pressed against Kakashi's back. Sasuke's foot hooked around his ankle, pulling him off balance. And Naruto, from the ground, snatched one of the bells from Kakashi's belt. Objective complete. Obtain bell, team status, victorious, conditional. They froze. Kakashi froze. Then, slowly, incredibly, he started to laugh. Well, he said, straightening up, brushing dirt from his vest. That's the first time a team's actually managed that. Enemy status, combat ended, threat level, neutralized, temporarily. Naruto stared at the bell in his hand. It was real. They'd actually done it. Teamwork. Kakashi continued, his visible eye crinkling in what was definitely a smile this time. That's what I was testing for. Not individual skill, anyone can learn skills. But teamwork? Trusting your comrades with your life? That's rarer. He looked at each of them in turn. You passed. Quest complete. Bell test. Rewards 500 XP. Genin team status confirmed. Team synergy plus 15%. Relationship increased. Kakashi plus 10. Sakura plus 5. Sasuke plus 3. Level up 3-4. Sakura burst into tears. Sasuke's expression flickered towards something that might have been pride. And Naruto. Naruto looked at his teammates. At the people who just fought beside him like they actually mattered to each other. At the beginning of something he couldn't quite name. Team 7 established, party system active, new feature unlocked, bound skills. Lunch is on me, Kakashi said, producing 3 bento boxes from nowhere. Congratulations, Team 7. You're officially Genin. That night, Naruto sat on the Hokage monument with Kushina, eating the onigiri she'd made and watching the village lights flicker below. You did well, she said quietly. I watched the whole thing. Your teamwork was beautiful. You were there? Naruto almost choked on his rice. Kakashi knew? Of course he knew. The Hokage authorized it. Newly awakened Jinchuriki's mother observing her son's first real mission? Standard protocol. She smiled. Also, I may have threatened him a little. Just to make sure he took it seriously. Kushina, threat assessment updated. Subject threatened a Jounin on your behalf. Loyalty index, extreme. Mom. The word came out before Naruto could stop it. He froze, waiting for her reaction. She went very still. Then her face crumpled, and she pulled him into a hug so tight he couldn't breathe. You called me Mom, she whispered. Yeah? I guess I did. He hugged her back, awkward and fierce. Is that okay? It's more than okay. She pulled back, cupping his face in her hands, tears streaming down her cheeks. It's everything. It's everything I've wanted for 16 years. Relationship with Kushina, 3245/100, family bond, strengthened, loneliness penalty, removed. They sat together in the darkness, mother and son, watching the village that had tried to break them both. And for the first time in his life, Naruto felt like he belonged somewhere. Not to the village. Not yet. But to her. To his team. To the small, fierce family he was building, one relationship at a time. Long-term quest updated, Road to Hokage, current progress, 0.8%. System note, you are loved. Naruto read the words and smiled. The numbers were tools, not truths. But sometimes, just sometimes, the numbers told a story worth believing. The first C-rank mission should have been simple. Escort a bridge builder to Wave Country. Protect him from bandits. Collect payment and return to Konoha. Standard fare for a rookie team looking to prove themselves. Naruto stood at the village gate with his teammates, listening to Kakashi explain the mission parameters, and tried to ignore the system's warnings. Warning, mission parameters incomplete, client, Tazuna, bridge builder, threat assessment, client is withholding information, deception probability, 78%, recommendation, confront client before departure. He'd learned to trust the system's intuition. It had saved him from Mizuki, guided him through the bell test, helped him navigate the complicated terrain of having a mother who'd risen from the dead. But confronting Tazuna now, in front of Kakashi, in front of his teammates, felt like overstepping. He was just a genin. What did he know about mission assessment? Previous experience, Mizuki incident. You recognized deception then, why not now? Because it was different. Because Mizuki had been actively hostile, and Tazuna was just a drunk old man with a sad story. Because you're afraid of looking stupid, intelligence 16, yet you doubt your own judgment, pattern, self-trust deficit detected. Naruto's jaw tightened. The system was right. He did doubt himself, even now, even with all the evidence of his own growth. 16 years of being told he was worthless didn't disappear in a few months of success. But that didn't mean he had to keep making the same mistakes. Kakashi-sensei. He stepped forward, ignoring Sakura's surprised look. I think Tazuna's hiding something. Kakashi's visible eye sharpened. Oh? Naruto pressed on, the system feeding him data points. His story doesn't add up. Bandits on the trade route, that's a D-rank problem at most. Why hire genin for a C rank? And look at him. He nodded toward Tazuna, who was sweating despite the cool morning air. He's not just drunk. He's scared. Really scared. Of something more than bandits. Perception check successful, Kakashi assessment, impressed, Tazuna assessment, caught. Tazuna's face went through several expressions in rapid succession, surprise, fear, resignation, before settling on something like shame. The kid's right, he muttered. I lied on the mission request. Kakashi's demeanor didn't change, but Naruto felt the temperature drop several degrees. Explain. There's no bandits. Well, there are, but that's not the real problem. Tazuna took a long drink from his flask. It's a man. A crime lord named Gato. He's taken over Wave Country, not officially, but he might as well own it. His thugs patrol the streets, his money controls the government, and anyone who opposes him ends up dead. He looked at them with desperate eyes. I'm building a bridge to connect us to the mainland. To bring in trade, bring in hope. Gato knows. He's sent people after me before. He'll send more. Threat assessment updated enemy, Gato, crime lord forces, mercenaries, possibly missing Nin, mission rank, B or higher, contract violation, client withheld critical information. Kakashi was very quiet for a very long moment. You understand, he said finally, that you've placed my team in danger without their consent. You've violated the terms of our contract. I am well within my rights to abandon this mission and return you to Konoha for fraud. Kakashi emotional state, controlled anger, decision point, continue or abort? Tazuna's face crumpled. I know, and I'm sorry. But my country, my granddaughter, if I don't finish that bridge, Gato wins. He destroys everything. His voice cracked. I have no one else to turn to. No one else would take the mission. Please. Emotional appeal, granddaughter, probability of Kakashi acceptance, 64%, probability of Kakashi rejection, 36%. Naruto looked at his teammates. Sakura's expression was conflicted, fear warring with sympathy. Sasuke's was unreadable, as always. But there was something in his eyes, a flicker of recognition. He knew what it was like to have your world stolen by someone with power. We should go, Naruto said quietly. Kakashi turned to him. This isn't your decision. I know. But we're a team, right? That's what you taught us. We make decisions together. He met Kakashi's gaze steadily. Tazuna messed up. He lied, and that's wrong. But if we turn back now, people die. Real people, not mission parameters. I don't want that on my conscience. Moral choice, compassion over protocol, Kakashi respect, +5, team influence, +3. Sakura nodded slowly. Naruto's right. We can't just let them die. Sasuke said nothing, but he didn't object. That was agreement enough. Kakashi studied them for a long moment, then sighed. Fine. But from now on, you listen to me. No more heroics, no more independent decisions without consulting me first. Understood? Yes, sensei. They chorused. Quest updated, Bridge to Hope, objective, protect Tazuna, complete bridge construction, threat level, unknown, potentially high, reward, variable. The first attack came 3 days into their journey. Naruto felt it before he saw it, the system's danger sense flaring, highlighting a patch of road ahead in threatening red. He opened his mouth to warn the others, but Kakashi was already moving, faster than thought, intercepting. 2 missing Nin exploded from the forest. Enemy identified, Demon Brothers, missing Nin, missed, rank, Chunin, estimated, threat level, high, recommendation, defensive formation. Naruto's body moved before his brain caught up. He grabbed Tazuna, hurling the old man behind him while simultaneously forming hand seals. Shadow clones popped into existence, forming a wall between the bridge builder and the attackers. Sakura had her kunai out, stance defensive, covering Sasuke's flank. Sasuke was already moving forward, too aggressive, too reckless, the Uchiha pride demanding he prove himself. Sasuke, no! Naruto shouted. Too late. One of the demon brothers, a hulking man with a massive chain weapon, caught Sasuke mid-charge and threw him into a tree. The crack of impact was sickening. Sasuke crumpled, unconscious, blood streaming from a head wound. Status, Sasuke unconscious, HP, 12/210, critical condition. Something in Naruto's chest went very cold. Emotional state, protective rage, stat boost, +3 strength, +2 speed, stat penalty, -4 intelligence, -2 perception, warning, emotional instability, impaired judgment. He didn't care about the penalty. He didn't care about strategy. One of his teammates was down, and these bastards were going to pay. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, 30 clones erupted around him, flooding the road, swarming the demon brothers from every angle. The missing Nin were good, Chunin level, skilled, experienced, but 30 against 2 was impossible odds. They went down under the wave of orange, bound and beaten before they could mount a defense. Naruto stood over them, breathing hard, fists clenched, the cold rage still burning in his chest. Behind him, Kakashi was already tending to Sasuke, Sakura hovering with tears streaming down her face. Combat ended, victory achieved, experience gained, 420. Warning, excessive force used, prisoners sustained unnecessary injuries, moral standing, -2. Naruto stared at the warning. Unnecessary injuries. He'd hurt them more than he needed to. He'd enjoyed it, just a little, the feeling of power after watching Sasuke fall. Emotional state, shame plus confusion, recommendation, process emotions with trusted individual. He looked at his teammates. At Sasuke, pale and bleeding. At Sakura, terrified and crying. At Kakashi, whose visible eye held something that might have been concern, not for the prisoners, but for him. "I'm fine," Naruto said before anyone could ask. Let's keep moving." They made camp that night in a clearing off the main road. Sasuke was stable. Kakashi's emergency treatment had stopped the bleeding, and his natural recovery was already kicking in, but he was still unconscious, his chakra levels dangerously low. Sakura sat beside him, holding his hand, her face set in determined lines that couldn't quite hide her fear. Naruto sat apart, staring into the fire, the system's warnings still echoing in his mind. Moral standing, -2, current standing, neutral, slightly compromised, warning, repeated excessive force may lead to permanent moral shifts. He didn't understand. He'd protected his team. He'd stopped the enemy. What did it matter if he'd been a little too enthusiastic about it? Empathy check failed. You are rationalizing violence. Consider, how would you feel if someone did this to you? The image flashed through his mind, himself, bound and beaten, unnecessary pain inflicted by someone who'd enjoyed it. He'd felt that. He'd felt that 100 times, 1,000, from villagers who'd taken their hatred out on the demon brat. The memory of it, the helplessness, the shame, the burning injustice, made his stomach turn. He'd become one of them. Just for a moment, he'd become exactly what he hated. Emotional state, self-loathing detected, warning, excessive self-criticism impairs growth, balance required, acknowledge mistake, learn, move forward. "How do I do that?" Naruto whispered. "How do I just move forward?" "You talk about it." Kakashi sat down beside him, quiet as a ghost. In the firelight, his visible eye looked almost gentle. "I saw what happened back there," he continued. "The rage. The loss of control. It's normal, for shinobi, for anyone who watches a comrade fall. What matters is what you do with it." Kakashi, mentor mode activated, relationship, +5, total, 15/100. "I hurt them more than I needed to." Naruto's voice was flat. "I wanted to hurt them." "Yes. And now you feel guilty about it." Kakashi shrugged. "That's the difference between a shinobi and a monster. Monsters don't feel guilt. They don't question themselves. They just hurt, and hurt, and hurt, until there's nothing left to hurt." Naruto looked at him. At the scarred eye, the hidden past, the weight of years visible in every line of his body. "You've felt it too." "I've felt everything." Kakashi's voice was very quiet. "I've lost everyone. I've made choices I can never undo. And I've learned slowly, painfully, that the only way forward is to feel it. The guilt. The grief. The rage. All of it. You can't outrun your emotions, Naruto. They'll always catch up." Wisdom gained, Kakashi's philosophy, emotional intelligence, +2. They sat in silence for a while, watching the fire. "Sensei," Naruto finally said, "how do you know when you're crossing the line? When protecting becomes something else?" Kakashi was quiet for a long moment. Then, "You don't. Not always. But if you're asking the question, if you're worried about crossing the line, then you're still on the right side of it. The ones who've truly fallen don't wonder. They just act." Wisdom gained, moral self-awareness, new trait unlocked, reflective warrior. Naruto nodded slowly. The system was quiet now, its warnings fading into the background. He still felt the shame, the self-loathing, the sick memory of enjoying violence. But beneath it, there was something else, determination. The resolve to do better. To be better. "Thanks, Sensei." Kakashi's eye crinkled. "Don't mention it. Now get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day." They reached Wave Country 2 days later. The change was immediate and oppressive. Where Konoha was bright and bustling, Wave was gray and silent. The streets were empty, the shops shuttered, the few people they saw hurrying past with heads down and fear in their eyes. Environmental analysis, oppressive regime, population morale, critically low, Gato influence, total. Tazuna led them through the streets to his home, a small house on the outskirts of town, surrounded by a vegetable garden and the sad remnants of better times. An old woman met them at the door, her eyes sharp despite her age, and a little girl peeked from behind her skirts. "Grandpa!" The girl, Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter, Naruto's memory supplied, ran to embrace him. "You're back! You brought help!" "That's right, sweetheart." Tazuna's voice was thick with emotion. "These are Konoha shinobi. They're going to help us finish the bridge." The old woman, Tsunami's mother, Tazuna's wife, eyed them critically. "They're children." "They're highly trained children," Kakashi said mildly. "And they've already saved your husband's life once." Social interaction, defensive, Tsunami respect, +2. The old woman snorted but stepped aside, letting them enter. The house was small but clean, with an atmosphere of stubborn hope that reminded Naruto of something he couldn't quite name. Memory trigger, your own apartment, similarities, small, clean, hopeful, emotional resonance, recognition. He knew this feeling. This determination to make a home, a life, in spite of everything. This refusal to let the darkness win. "Thank you," Tsunami said quietly, as she served them tea. "For bringing my father home. For coming here, knowing the danger." Her eyes were wet. "We've been so alone." Emotional state, gratitude plus grief, team morale, +5. Naruto looked at his teammates. Sakura was visibly moved, her hand reaching for Sasuke's before she caught herself and pulled back. Sasuke, awake now, still weak but recovering, was watching the family with an expression that might have been envy. And Kakashi, as always, was unreadable. But Naruto knew. They all felt it. The weight of being someone's only hope. The next 2 weeks were the hardest of Naruto's life. Not because of the fighting, though there was plenty of that. Gato's thugs attacked the bridge site daily, testing their defenses, probing for weaknesses. Naruto and his team repelled them each time, working together with growing efficiency. Combat log day 8. Enemies defeated, 12. Team synergy, 87%. New technique acquired, synchronized attack, Team 7. But the real challenge wasn't the fighting. It was the waiting. The endless hours of guard duty, watching the same gray sky over the same half-finished bridge. The tension of knowing an attack could come at any moment. The fear, unspoken but shared, that next time might be the time they failed. Psychological strain detected. Naruto, moderate, managing. Sakura, moderate, struggling. Sasuke, severe, concealed. Kakashi, minimal, experienced. Sasuke was the one Naruto worried about most. The Uchiha had recovered physically from the Demon Brothers' attack, but something in him had changed. He was quieter than usual, which was saying something, and there was a new edge to his training, a desperate intensity that bordered on reckless. "He's pushing too hard," Sakura confided one evening, while Sasuke was out doing extra laps around the bridge. "I've tried talking to him, but he won't listen. He just shuts down." Relationship, Sakura +8, total, 13/100, trust level, friend/confidant. Naruto nodded slowly. He'd seen it too, the way Sasuke's eyes went distant when he thought no one was watching, the way he flinched at unexpected sounds, the way he trained until he collapsed and then kept going. Analysis, Sasuke's psychological state, trauma, recent near-death experience, trauma, historical clan massacre, current coping mechanism, denial plus overwork, recommendation, intervention required. "What do we do?" he asked. "He won't talk to us. He barely talks to anyone." Sakura bit her lip. "I don't know. Maybe we just keep being here. Keep showing him we're not going anywhere. Eventually, he'll have to see it, right?" Ninja wisdom, Sakura, emotional intelligence, above average strategy, passive support. Naruto wanted to argue. Wanted to charge after Sasuke and force him to talk, to feel, to stop pretending he was fine. But the system's warning flickered at the edge of his vision. Warning, confrontation may worsen condition, current approach, passive support probability of success, 34%, alternative approach, active intervention probability of success, 28%, recommendation, continue current strategy, monitor closely. He hated waiting. He hated feeling helpless. But he'd learned to trust the numbers, even when they told him things he didn't want to hear. Okay, he said. We wait. We watch. And if he gets worse, we do something else. The something else happened 3 days later. Zabuza Momochi, the legendary missing nin from Mist, the man who tried to kill them on the road, returned with a plan and a partner. They attacked at dawn, when the team was at their weakest, their guard lowest. Combat alert, elite enemy detected, enemy, Zabuza Momochi, former Kage candidate, rank, Jounin, elite, threat level, extreme. Second enemy detected, enemy, Haku, unknown, rank, unknown, estimated Jounin, threat level, extreme. Survival probability, 18%. Naruto read the numbers and felt his blood run cold. 18%. Those were worse odds than he'd faced against Mizuki, worse than the Bell test, worse than anything. But he'd beaten worse odds before. Kakashi! He shouted, already moving. Zabuza's back! He's got help! Kakashi was there in an instant, blocking Zabuza's first strike, the clash of their blades sending sparks into the gray morning light. I see him. Sakura, protect Tazuna! Naruto, Sasuke, support me! Battle formation, Team 7. Kakashi vs. Zabuza, Jounin duel. Naruto plus Sasuke vs. Haku, unknown threat. Sakura, defensive, Tazuna plus Tsunami. Naruto and Sasuke moved without hesitation, falling into the synchronized pattern they'd developed over weeks of fighting together. Sasuke attacked from the left, Naruto from the right, forcing their enemy to divide attention. Haku was beautiful. That was Naruto's first thought, irrational and immediate. The figure before them was slender and graceful, with dark hair and pale skin and eyes that held no malice, only a quiet, terrible resolve. Enemy analysis, Haku, combat style, ice release, Kekii Genkai, threat level, extreme, warning, this enemy is not hostile by nature, note, emotional vulnerability detected. Not hostile by nature. That was important. Naruto filed it away even as he launched his attack, kunai aimed at Haku's shoulder, not to kill, just to disable. Haku moved like water, flowing around the strike, and suddenly the world exploded into ice. Suiton, ice released demonic mirroring ice crystals. Naruto found himself trapped in a cage of frozen mirrors, his own reflection staring back at him from a dozen angles. Through the ice, he could see Sasuke in another part of the prison, equally trapped, equally confused. And then the Senbon started falling. Combat, Haku's assault, evasion check required, difficulty extreme, success chance, 23%. Naruto dodged, twisted, weaved, the system guiding his movements, showing him the path of each Senbon before it arrived, but there were too many. One pierced his shoulder. Another grazed his cheek. A third embedded itself in his thigh, making him stumble. Health, 156/240, status, multiple wounds, bleeding, minor, combat efficiency, reduced. Through the ice, he saw Sasuke taking similar damage, his movements growing slower, more desperate. Haku flitted between mirrors, impossibly fast, raining Senbon like a storm. And Naruto realized, they were going to lose. Survival probability, 7%, recommendation, desperate gamble required. Desperate gamble. He'd done that before. He could do it again. Hey Haku! He shouted between dodges. You don't want to be here, do you? The Senbon paused. Just for a moment. Just long enough. Enemy emotional state, surprise plus curiosity, exploit opportunity, conversation. I can see it. Naruto continued, gasping for breath. In your eyes. You're not like Zabuza. You're not a killer. You're just doing what you have to survive. Right? A long silence. Through the eyes, Haku's expression flickered, something painful, something hidden. You don't know anything about me. I know you're protecting someone. Naruto pressed on, the system feeding him words, helping him shape his plea. I know what that's like. I'd do anything for my team. Anything. But Haku, is this really what they'd want? For you to kill children for them? Emotional attack, effective, Haku emotional state, conflicted, probability of surrender, 12%. Not enough. Not nearly enough. But then Sasuke spoke. He's right. The Uchiha's voice was rough with pain, but steady. I know what it's like to lose everyone. To have nothing left but one person, one purpose. But Haku. He met the ice user's eyes through the mirror. You're not them. You're not your past. You can choose something different. Emotional attack, combined, Sasuke emotional authenticity, high. Haku emotional state, crumbling. Probability of surrender, 41%. The Senbon stopped entirely. For a long moment, no one moved. Naruto could feel his blood soaking his clothes, his vision starting to gray at the edges, but he held still. Held hope. Then Haku's voice, very quiet. Zabuza-sama saved my life. He gave me purpose when I had none. How can I betray that? You don't have to betray him, Naruto said. You just have to stop hurting us. Give us a chance to talk to him. To find another way. Diplomacy check, charisma, 16, base, plus 3, emotional appeal, equals 19, target resistance, 14, success. The ice crystals shattered. Naruto fell to his knees, gasping, as the prison dissolved around them. Haku stood in the center of the clearing, head bowed, Senbon clutched loosely in trembling hands. I'm sorry, they whispered. I'm so sorry.